Hey guys, and welcome to our third episode of Studio Scoops, which is a tale of two cities. We were out for a little bit of a hiatus, and now we are back. We certainly had some great races. What do you think about that, Priyanka?
Yes, I think the last race was so thrilling, unlike what we were expecting, right?
Exactly, because you were messaging me about it that the race is going to be that great and everything. I thought the second race would be boring. That would be the Spanish GP. I thought it would be boring, but my God, that was some Shatranj ke khiladi level kind of stuff.
Yeah, too much of strategy and wheel to wheel drama between Max Verstappen and Sir Lewis Hamilton.
अरे वो जो श्रीमान जी है what he does man, he's always on a second, he's always in a different zone altogether. He's like got a different league of his own.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that, Max would take, because he took the lead in the first lap, he would stay there and we had a clear winner, but we were up for a lot of surprise in this race.
Exactly, they when you have you noticed whenever they start a race they are in their own league and the rest of the teams just follow after that.
Yes.
And somehow or the other, but I would say that Mercedes have a little bit of a higher chance comparatively because they have Valtteri Bottas as a good rear gunner for them. Checo has still not reached that level, which is what Red Bull has been struggling for so many years as well.
So the whole pressure comes on Max Verstappen to
exactly,
keep the show on and keep it going.
Because it gives them flexibility in strategies.
Yeah, so true. So I saw the domination that Lewis Hamilton was putting, being in the second position, and he was chasing Max like a crazy person.
Yeah, in the Spanish GP. So as soon as it starts, so Lewis Hamilton was on a less rubbery side because there was a F2 race which took place before this. An F3 race which took before this.
Okay.
Before the main GP. So he was on the less rubber was laid down on the place where he start, and Max had more rubber laid down. As a result of which he had a better launch start.
Oh.
And he was able to take him off into the first turn itself.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he just bolted across, but Hamilton stayed back. That was the most surprising part about this entire Spanish GP. Unlike what we saw at Portimao in Algarve, it was a very windy circuit.
Yeah.
So a lot of people had been stumbled because of the reason of the wind. And as a result of which they were unable to, they had to adjust their entire strategy based upon the wind.
Though the race started with a very powerful overtake from Max, it was pure domination by Lewis that we just discussed.
The aerodynamics played a big part in it. So, how much do you know about aerodynamics?
I am little too new to the sport in terms of the technicalities, though I love the sports.
Aerodynamics in basic terms is basically how the wind flows over the car. And the great thing about these cars is that the more aerodynamically sound the car is, the more faster you can take the corners. So basically, the more downforce it generates, the more faster you can go around the corner.
Oh.
And as a result of which, the winds were blowing in all different directions, so the aerodynamics were being thrown off. And that's where people like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton and your Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, all the F1 drivers, the way they managed the entire wind to control these cars with high torque was amazing to see.
Yeah, and I think both the races, like Sir Lewis Hamilton won, but he had a lot to give back to his team because it's for sheer teamwork.
They are like a well-oiled machine. They're properly. It's like every function is well defined and they can improvise on the spot as well. I literally thought that Max Verstappen has it in the bag in the Spanish GP. What they did was they did something they repeated in Hungary of 2019.
Yeah.
They repeated the same strategy. And after the race also, Max Verstappen said the same thing, that I was just waiting for it to happen. I felt like a sitting duck over there.
Poor Max. I mean, I have a soft corner for him, but I was wishing that he would get the pole position, but he didn't. But the fight was interesting. And what was the winning strategy? Can you explain me a bit? What did happen in Hungary last year?
Okay, so I will tell you, since it's a tale of two cities, so I will tell you in Portimao what happened was that Bottas had qualified first, and the pace that Hamilton and Verstappen are on, they are on a different league because the fight is between them. So they had basically, the entire strategy was based around them. The point was Hamilton to somehow get in front of him in spite of all this aerodynamic drag created by the track conditions as well as the drag created by the car ahead.
Yeah.
Now, because of the pit strategy, Hamilton is able to get into that zone and the team supports him as well, where they are able to push him forward. Nonetheless, Bottas tries, and I put that in inverted quotes, that tries to defend himself from Hamilton, but Hamilton is on a different league altogether.
Yeah.
Verstappen, on the second hand, what he does is that he has support from Red Bull, All right. And Checo, that is the second driver of Red Bull, was still fighting his way through the field. So he was not there in a position to put pressure on the Mercedes drivers as well. So they had enough of time for them to swap their drivers around. All right. Now, this was in Portimao what happened. Max Verstappen overtook Bottas as well because his pace was too much. However, in Spanish GP, what happened was that he had already gone ahead. He had pitted, he had gone ahead. So the thing is that they were trying to overtake him. But the thing is that the nature of the track is such. I had sent you a video regarding that. How is it difficult to overtake? Now it had the nature of the track is such that you cannot overtake. So rather than staying behind and degrading your tires, they said that let us pit again. That's the roll of the dice that they did. And as a result of which he came into the pits. Max extended his gap, and tire was supposed to go till the end. Now, Lewis Hamilton, when he pitted, he had fresher tires, so he was almost 2 seconds faster than what Max Verstappen was. And again, this is the entire teamwork, the entire pit strategy, and the entire chessboard moves that were made by Toto Wolff, the team principal of Mercedes, to put Max Verstappen into pressure. Probably he would have not been so much into pressure had Checo been there ready to support him as well. They wouldn't have that opportunity of pitting him and taking over Bottas, and then they didn't have the flexibility in the split strategy basically.
Even in the pits, I saw there was a bit of a drama with Max's pit stop.
Yes, and that surprising because we saw always Red Bull having those perfect pit stops. But this time there was something which was very out there. Like they rarely make mistakes like that.
The left wheel was going not in.
Yes, yeah. They weren't ready for him. They weren't ready for him. So that's the reason why. But it's a mistake that happens under pressure. So nonetheless, that's where your driver comes into play. He said, I remember the pit radio conversation was all about, don't worry, I'll take care of it. But Hamilton was in a different league again. So.
Yeah. Sir Hamilton has been dominating the pole position again this year. But do you think the tally is going to be the same, or we can get some surprises as we proceed?
Answering your first question, yes, I think the pole positions, I think he's already taken 100 pole positions now. I think he might go for 100 wins as well.
Yeah.
And he would be like the best driver ever. He's already surpassed a lot of Michael Schumacher's records as well. Where the points table is concerned, they have extended their lead after the 2 races. I see this going down till the last race. I hope it goes down till the last race because Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton, they have this uncanny habit of just pushing themselves ahead and just taking a lead and just decimating the competition.
Yeah.
I really wish that Red Bull pull up their socks and do what needs to be done to put them under pressure. What Honda has done, as I said in the last podcast, is that they have brought their 2022 engine into 21.
Yeah.
And that has certainly reaped the rewards, I feel.
Yeah.
And also, finally, Checo needs to be more as a support driver towards Max.
So I think the highlight goes on the people who are not performing.
Yes, the second drivers, they need to... Yeah.
Please do something. But also, we should think about the overall strategy that these cars are taking. I mean, I am learning a lot, and you told me just before we start recording that Honda is planning to get out of this.
Yes, Honda is planning to get out of this because it's number one, it is not economically very viable for them, and secondly, they want to be more environmentally friendly. The push for green alternatives are going in more.
Mm-hmm.
So an interesting fact was actually shown after the race was that the tech talk which happens after the race, they showed the fuel. So these are synthetic fuels that are made specifically designed for these cars. They have 10% of additives which are environmentally friendly.
Oh.
They're going to increase that next year because they want to move towards more synthetic things. And Honda is selling its intellectual property to Red Bull so that Red Bull can make their own engines because Red Bull doesn't want to become a customer team.
Yeah.
Because then they would be at the mercy of another manufacturer. They want to make their own manufacturing and they want to do their own. They want to compete on their own terms.
Wow. So is the energy drink planning to get into automobiles is now my...
Yes. Christian Horner jokes about it. He says that we are just a fizzy drinks company who happen to be into racing and sports.
I don't know who's getting wings there. But coming back to, I have seen these last 2 races with a little more critical eye towards the details, a little more trying to understand the strategy
Right.
or the kind of things. But what do you think? What is it? What is going for these cars, and what is? There are few teams which are not performing.
Yes,
Let's talk
yes.
about them today. Let's.
Sure. Yeah, the midfield has become quite tight. Like everyone from fourth downwards is very tight. If Checo is able to go more, so that it becomes more segregated,
Mhm.
but he's still trying to get grips with his Red Bull.
Okay.
But everybody from the fight for third is becoming very interesting between McLaren and Ferrari.
Ferrari.
The teamwork between both of them has become very. They're finding their groove. Let's just say that they're finding their groove. McLaren is performing at a more higher level because Lando Norris has gained that experience. Ricardo, who had moved from Renault last year into McLaren, is trying to find his feet.
Yeah.
But his fight in Portimao was amazing. From 15th on the grid to a point scoring position was something amazing to see.
Great.
The Ferraris are there in the mix as well. Leclerc has those amazing starts in both the races. I think he was third at one point of time in both the races.
Yeah.
He manages to keep there, but the Ferrari engine is still not up to its peak performance.
Oh.
So they're still fighting for third. Carlos Sainz also is more and more supporting him, as well as he's trying to get into his own groove as well.
Yeah.
My team, which I support, Alpha Tauri, they are having just bad. Yuki the rookie is not doing very well because that's his inexperience. He will learn 100%. He's still trying to get to grips with the car as well, and they just need to have a clean weekend.
Yeah.
Where they don't have stupid mistakes. Pierre Gasly, he was very pissed off after the second race where he actually went like, "Oh, I made that stupid error of not starting where my starting point was." And he was very pissed off with himself.
Yeah, I mean, any sports driver would be not starting at the right point. That's the least you expect out of a F1 racer, maybe.
Yeah.
But even in the Portimao race, we saw Kimi Raikkonen in the second lap.
Yes. His son made a lot of fun about it because he got something distracted about something on his steering wheel, and he rear-ended his own.
What was distracting him?
There's a lot of numbers. There are a lot of things which happen on the steering wheel. Also, Kimi Raikkonen must have got like blinded by the lights. He's an older gentleman. Let's just say that.
Come on. Are we pitting the younger lord against the older one?
There's certainly like that. But Kimi Raikkonen is in his own zone. He's the Iceman for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a very unlikely mistake that he made, which his son made a lot of fun of as well. He didn't care about what his team said, but he said that my son really took my case for this entire thing.
Yeah, you don't just race for your team, you're also racing back for your country, your family, your fans. So there's a lot of drama happening. I'm just thinking, when would F1 start doing some Hindi telecasts? Why can't we have a Hindi commentator?
Well, you could do some Hindi commentary. I would be interesting to listen to that as well.
My Hindi, seriously?
यार मेरा भी हिंदी ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं है.
पर मुझसे खराब नहीं हो सकता, for sure.
The viewership is not as much for it's still a very equestrian sport.
Yeah.
Very few people follow it still. More and more people need to get into it. If it has like a cult following like what cricket has, or a football has, then I think we would have more sports.
There are a lot of F1 fans. We ourselves know
They are
at least 20.
They are closeted F1 fans.
Yeah, why are they in the closet? They need to come and support Studio Scoop. We will do our best to get F1 in Hindi started, right?
Oh, yes.
No, but jokes apart, I think...
please mention in the comments, what would you call F1 in Hindi? Like...
Gaadi ka dhoom dhadaka.
Dhoom dhadaka.
So, let's not Bollywoodize the overall F1.
They could help as well. They could invest in that and all. I think they would have some money lying around for that if they can invest into IPL as well. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. But overall, I'm very excited about the Monaco GP, which is next 2 weeks.
Okay, now so I like being wrong because I thought that Spanish GP would be boring, but this race is all about whoever starts in pole position would win the race.
Yeah.
Whoever qualifies best would win the race. I hope I am wrong. I wish I am wrong because it's a heritage track. Die-hard Formula fans will agree with this, that this track is steeped in history. It's basically one of the F1 drivers has described it as driving a mountain bike in your living room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very visual.
It is very compact. It is very narrow. The street.
Yeah.
Monaco is still ruled by a king, by the way. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he comes for the celebration ceremonies and all.
Oh, Interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's one of the most expensive circuits and one of the most
Yeah.
celebrated, glamorous.
Yeah.
For all the
All the main
sponsorship.
sponsors, all the main
Yeah.
sponsors, they descend onto Monaco, and they have like this. But I think this year, because of the COVID protocols that they maintain and all, it wouldn't be as festive as it has been in the past years. Last year they didn't have it because of the COVID situation as well. But this year everybody's glad that it's back. And Charles Leclerc, it's going to be Charles Leclerc's home race, because he was born literally one street away from where the track is.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's got some emotional connect for the driver.
Yeah, so I hope he does well in that track, man, and
Yeah.
I wish he does qualify first. Well, that's pushing it too forward. I hope Max wins. I hope one of my Alpha Tauri
I
drivers
also
comes.
want Max to win. I so want him to see. I want to see him on the pole position.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Lewis Hamilton. Like, when you think that you have defeated him, he just goes like, on the back of his helmet, there is a saying that he's written called "Still we rise." I don't know how much higher can he rise, because he always finds that second gear, third, fourth, fifth. He just shifts into a different gear and he goes into it.
Mercedes is planning some new technique where the car would just fly.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will just very soon we'll just see him just taking off the tracks.
So I'll give you a little bit of homework. Next time when you see the race, you look at the construction of the rear of the cars.
Okay.
Mercedes have got a bulge in the rear of the car, which is basically their engine is on steroids.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Meanwhile, what Honda has gone for is a more streamlined engine. Basically, it has become a more curvaceous model.
Ooh.
Yes, and this one has gone for a buffed up look. Mercedes has gone for a more buffed up look.
But who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for Red Bull, but deep down inside, I'm rooting for Alpha Tauri.
Oh yeah, I hope they make it somewhere.
I don't want them to win the race, but like probably just a fourth or a fifth.
Yeah. At least in the first top 10.
Exactly,
we would be happy.
Because Pierre Gasly has gone through a lot, and he is a very emotional driver.
Great.
And he's very dedicated to his craft.
So yeah, let's look forward. I look forward to the next race, and this time, guys, we want you to give us suggestions. What do you want us to do next? Would you want us to go live on the race day? Would you like to know how the behind the scene drama happens when we are recording Studio Scoops episodes? There's a lot. If you guys want to know us more, or you want us to cover something, we would be more than happy, as long as it's not in Hindi from my side. To cover it.
Hindi हमारा राष्ट्र भाषा है.
It's okay. I can live with not talking in Hindi as long as I don't get virtual eggs thrown at me. Thank you so much, guys, and we look forward to hearing from you. Follow us on Spotify, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Google Play. We are there as well on Google Podcast now. So,
and like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please do. Looking forward to hearing. Bye.
Bye, guys.